Okay, Advent of Code 2021, day 6. I thought it time for another recording. I prepped day 6 again in Rex for an API endpoint. I was working on this over the weekend, but more on that later, maybe, or some future puzzles. For now, we're going to dive into day 6, just do a little pre-check if I've done everything correct. It looks nice, so let's see if we get a little crash here. I did create the example file somewhere for day 6. It should not do anything at all and just crash out and say solution equals solution, because that's what we're doing here. Now let's head on to the puzzle. We're gonna have to play a game of life basically on some fish, where we start with some fish and their counters. So we're gonna, alright, so it counts down, and when it hits 0, it creates or spawns like a new fish that then starts at 8, and then they never die. Maybe we should keep track of how old they are. But let's get started. First, we're going to parse our input file, which is just a single line. So this is going to be a single loop, which is stupid. So, and we're going to document it as we go, hopefully. So read the only input line, fish equals file.1. Now that will contain this here string. We can go and split this into a stem, or we can keep it as a string and move through it. We don't know how big it's gonna get, and if we might hit the max string length. So let's see what the real output will be. Ooh, we start with a lot of fish, so they are all gonna like boom 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 explode into a lot. And how many cycles do we have to do? 18 days. Let's do a quick guesstimate. So that's 6, that's 3 and 8. So it's at least gonna go by 3. Now we'll just stick with the stem. So initial, what kind of fish is this? Initial fish is good enough. Initial fishes. Fishes? Fishy? Fishes? Initial fish. So we're gonna split that on a comma and then stick it in a stem. So let's call this school, right? School of fish. Init at nothing. And then we don't have to do this probably, but let's keep it neat. We're gonna trend. Does this give us like context help? That's a pity, no. It is translate, isn't it? Rex translate. Yeah, it is. And it's gonna like take 3 arguments, if I remember correctly. Yeah, translate some string, and it's weird, but then it's like string change into whatever you find. So we're gonna translate our file.1, and we're gonna make every comma. What? Every comma. That looks funky. Better comment that, right? All comments, all commas become a space. So then we have a space separated thing. Fishies equals words initial fish, and then do f equals 1 to fishies, school.f equals word initial fish, comma f, and then we set that school.0 index counter to fishies. Just to see if we have that right, we're going to just push out the amount of fish that we've read in our solution, just to see if we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably 5, right? Or an internal server error stating something weird. School.0 equals fishies. What? Did I even save this? Oh, I'm in part 2. Haha, that is stupid. So we're going to take this, everything. So I was editing the part 2 file here, was not paying attention. Save it, execute it. 1. That is not enough. File. What? Let's trace that. Execute. This is going off to a good start. Well, this is where we do the translate, so we can see we change that string into that string. Probably made a typo here. Initial fish. That looks better. Get rid of the trace. Execute. So yeah, we've parsed 5 fish. But I think we should add. I think I want to keep track of, because we're going to have to do, let's see our thing again. We're going to have to do, what is it called? Days. Like how many days that fish is old after 10 days. So let's call it days. So we're going to give that a slash. We're going to give that a slash. Or just a space so we can easier parse it later with our words function. Yeah. Yes. We're going to give it a space and then 0. Right, because it lived for 0 days. Let's just see. Do I equals 1 to school.0 and end. I think we can all dream this loop by now, and we're going to do just to say
5 hours later.
Do it again. After 1, I want to get rid of this. Yeah, let's get rid of this. We don't need that here yet. Right again. So after 1 day, we get 23201, 121608. Should be good. So 18. Run. Run, Forest. 606456. That looks good. $80 days. Can we do that? Of course we can. But will it run fast? Execute. 5934. Looks good. we don't get that. Why do we get a go? Because we're doing all that mumbo jumbo. 0. Save, execute, no debug. Correct answer. Create our full file. I'm just going to do this and paste and save that here as day 06. Save. And then we'll see how efficient that code is. Execute. Hurrah! Let's go. It's a long file though. How many comments are in there? Come on, does it show how many? 299 comments, so it's 300 fish that is going to explode. So again, we need to improve this code. Still gonna let it run, score our points with shitty code. And then be somewhat happy with the star, and then improve on it. Maybe we can start thinking on how to improve it and why it's slow. Why is it slow? Well, number, answer paste. Yes. Look at day 2, part 2 to see if that gives a hint towards why it's not efficient. Maybe we can skip that day thing to make it more efficient. Yeah, so we don't need those days to see them die. Okay, so we're gonna take that out. Go away, go away. What is this weirdness? So we are not gonna keep this. So T is going not to be T, but just school.0, school.I. I'm just going to reset that to 6, make it all numbers, and otherwise I'm going to do that. We're going to do that. And save. Maybe run it again with our example code. Execute to go and say 26. Or what is it? No, 5934. Does look a bit faster. It does look a bit faster. Day 6. Run. Let's see. We didn't log the time here. It's a pity. Well. It's still taking too long. We don't want this. I mean, the code is pretty minimalistic. Because this is all just the same 393019. Yeah, that's good. It is still, I mean, this is only ran once. Now, if we can just go and stick this to 256, get dinner, and then see the answer.
5 hours later.
Yeah, well, so that crashed severely, but over some dinner and maybe some beverages, I think we're just doing it wrong. Because we're reading all the fish and doing this brute forcey fish thing that just explodes. But, and this is where I have to edit in my sketchy betchy things, we're better off just keeping track of fish based on their like timer count, and then it doesn't get as big, and hopefully they'll go faster. So we still need this to get our fishy things, but I don't want this anymore. I don't want a school of fish to keep track of, because as we've seen in our thing, you know, even with a small run of 80 days, these lantern fish are humongously, and then it just, you know, just this little set of 5 goes to, I don't know, a lot. So that real puzzle input that had 200 or 300 fish will just explode. So we're not going to do this. We're not going to do any of this stuff. We're just going to get rid of it all. Deleting everything is good. So what I want to keep track of is fish. I want to keep track of fish, and they're 0, and that's fish at some day. So when we read our fish, so do I equals 1 to fishies. We'll keep that one. And so we're reading in all our fish. We're getting the initial state of our fish. And I then want to say that fish dot, not dish, it's going to be a dish of fish at this rate, fish dot how many days, and the how many days comes from whatever we read. So timer equals initial fish word comma I, and then fish dot timer equals 1, right? So then at the end, after we've parsed our file, we can do, because this will never be greater than 8, because the fish can only be at day 0 to 8, because then it'll, you know, at 0 it goes back to 6 and it spawns an 8. So do I equals 1 to 8, and not 1 to 8, 0 to 8. Say fish at timer value I, fish.I. And then I keep this in there to keep the time. But when we now run it, it's still all buggerish. Go away. Reload my page. Come on. Stop this. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, kill. Restart. No, Python Rex day 6 part 2. I do want an extra input field here to give me the amount of days. We're going to do that next. We're just going to start with our example first. So that's going to be a far lower memory footprint to actually keep the same data. So let's see what we get here. I'm expecting some little list, fish it, right? That is so much noise. And then we do another day and we'll figure out how that goes. Solution equals 0, that is meh, 0. Okay. So then here we have our loop, right? Do day equals. How do we do that again? Because we were 1, 2, yeah. Day equals 1 to 2. We're just going to do 2 days here. This sounds good. And then something happens with the fish, right? So all the fish from a value whatever, like for sure, right? All the fish at 0, all the fish at 0 in the next day go to 6 and to 8. And then, so this is just the print at the end of the loop. So what do we do? We're gonna say that fish.0, that's the amount of fish that we have that should go to 6. Fish.0, let's see, is gonna go, oh, it's gonna be, so all those fish, so fish, can we do that the same way or do it at the end? They go to 6 and then 6 goes to 5. So we start at the highest value. So fish dot 8 they're all going to go away and go to fish dot 7. Fish 7 is going to be fish 8. This looks too logical to be true. Fish 6 is going to be fish 7. It's too simple yet too wrong. Let's think about this again. What happens for sure? All the fish that have 0 days left will be new fish. Yes. And all the fish 0 will be whatever the fishes for 1 were. This goes on and on and on. We'll just write it out and not do a loop. What? Ooh. 4 will be 5. All the fish at 5 will be the fish at 6. Fish 6 will be whatever fish had 7 days plus the ones that came from 0, so that's new fish, I think. I think this is right. Fish dot 7 will be fish dot, my goodness, 8, and fish dot 8 will just be our new fish. This stuff I think this happens when I don't have a blank line there. I think. Yeah. So get a day counter here. If debug, my god, debug equals 1, too excited, then say it's day. And we can see what happens then. It's day. We're running the example for part 2. Might want to switch debug on. Too excited to solve this. Execute. So it's day 1. Then that shifts there. Why do I have a fish at value 0 in our input? Because we don't. Oh, we do. Yeah. Total fish. That's a fish apocalypse equals fish apocalypse plus fish.I. And we start at 0. Say all fish apocalypse. Input after 18 days. Input after 18 days. 26. Please say 26. Why? Do I need one more day? One more day, 24. No, 26. We are on the right track. We're just doing something wrong. No typos. Just gonna get this print in here too. That doesn't look nice to me. Oh, that's because of the pasting error. Just gonna do it like this first. Execute. Go away. Okay, let's see. We're doing how many days? Start. So let's run this again. At the start, we have 2 fish at 3. It only says 1. That ain't right. So this is what we're doing wrong. That's what we're doing wrong. And then, maybe that looks better. It starts again. We've got 2 3s and a 1, a 4, and a 2. A 1, a 4, and a 2. And then day 1, we got 2 at 2. Oh, this is nice. 1 at 3, 1 at 0. Yeah, this looks good. This looks good. So I now want to, what do I want to do? I want to get some extra arguments in here. Days. If days. No, I want to get days in there. And where is our go away? Our calling endpoint is day 6. We are doing this for part 2. So I need to clone that file schema thing. And turn that into, there's the Cobol thing. Our day 6 schema, where it gets a puzzle and days. Equals fields.int required equals true. Description equals how many days. That should be enough. I'm just going to rerun here, and this is where we're going to also import our day 6 schema. That should work and not crash. Looks good. And then for part 2, we are gonna use our day 6 schema, and we get a puzzle and days. Días. Buenos días, señor. Days. Add that to our call. That looks good. So now this should get a different set of stuff. Yes. So now we can say browse our example file and run it for 18 days. 18 days, please. What? 422, what does that mean? It means it doesn't look right. Where does that 422 end up?
5 hours later.
See if my assumption was correct. Probably wasn't. Try it out. Example. 2 days. No 422, please. Got an unexpected argument. Days. Yes, because we need to add that here. Because we are getting that data from the annotation thing here, so we better use it, define it, or it will go bonkers, as we've seen. Go. Run 2 days for me, please. All fish 0, seconds rand 0. Why is that 0? Why is that all 0? Probably because I need a thing here. They're all 0. What? Say puzzle in input, say days. Probably something's going wrong with parsing that input. That's getting pushed in from the Python framework. So now puzzle input is that. What? So I take that away and that away. Do it in one go. How do we get rid of this thing? Manage. Manage my Zoe extension. Do not give me that pop-up all the time. Zoe VS Code disable pop-up file save. Silently fail. Now this is loudly succeeding. I want it the other way around. Does not pop up. Okay, later. Later. Execute. Please. Now, days is empty and the file has a space in it. I'm going crazy. Rex parse arc multiple fields. Parse arc template list. Parse source, parse value, parse var value. No, parse arc. See arc for details. Okay. Template list. No comma. No comma. Six fish. At least it's read something. Yes. Yes. I'm doing day 1, day 2, done. Solution equals 0. Might want to change that because our solution is. I don't want this here in the loop. I want it outside of the loop. And yeah, we'll bring that into a debug if then else. But yes, save. So now we're going to do our example, which our example input for, what was it, 80 days? No, 256 days ran for like 30 seconds. Oh no, that was the real one for 80. Let's see what this one does. Should be faster. Boom. 6. That can't be right. No. So 256 days. Bam. What a difference a different code approach makes. Do our 80 again. That was 30 something seconds. That should be near instantaneously now as well. Failed. Why? Why? Yeah, failed because we're on debug. Nah. So debug equals 0. Get rid of this stuff. 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 again. It was fast though. Boom. Come on, just give me a boom. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Nah. Cool. So this is the other way around. Fish at someday will never be. This is so much better. So probably, let's copy this for grins. If we take one more day, it's going to be loads more, right? Like loads. Oh my god. Oh my god. This code is so gazillion times better and faster and more cool. And it's even more logic. My initial solution was just fucked up. So, excuse my French. We can change this into day 6, yada yada yada, plus a little brr solves both part 1 and 2. Day 1 Rex is bad code. This is good code. Save. Show me the money. Two fast six. Boom. Man, I love it. Get rid of this. We don't need to see that anymore. That's stupid in all the API endpoints. We have to clean that up. Yeah, good. There's going to be some good video to cut. Awesome sauce.